Hi everybody, Miles Yim here for ESPN Esports going over the League of Legends Global Power Rankings. Today we're going to go through 5 through 1. At 5 from the LPL, Royal Never Give Up. They moved down a few spaces from number 2 to number 5 by virtue of their loss to Top Esports last week. It was a close match, but because RNG sort of indexed a little too high into the Protect the Uzi comp in Game 3, they were really unprepared for the counters Top brought to that final match. The 4-man counter-strike by 369's Jax after countering Longshi's Renekton in lane proved to be the difference. RNG still a very good team, but they struggle against the top part of the LPL. I think when teams are able to pressure Zhao Hu in the mid lane, when he's not able to distribute his resources to Uzi in the bot lane, that team can run into some problems. We saw it even this morning when they faced Dominus Esports in a 3-game series that was far closer than I think the records of those two teams would indicate. At 4, we have Top Esports, and I want to give a short shout out here to a player that sort of gets lost in the shuffle when we talk about this team. Always, it's Knight and Tian. Knight and XX with the headlines. We really forget about Ben in the bot lane. He was such an integral piece of the WE side that ran through Worlds in China in 2017. Folks from the West might remember his play from the 5-game quarterfinal versus Cloud9, in which Cloud9 unfortunately lost in 5 games. But Ben has proven to be an incredibly stabilizing force in the bot lane in a team full of members who are a bit on the younger side and might not have that international experience that Ben provides. So shout out to Ben, good job. At number 3, well, it's SKT. Back from the dregs of the LCK. At one point in this summer split, they were 1-5 at the end of week 3. Faker was being subbed out for Gory, full-blown crisis mode, and ever since that fateful substitution in the Griffin series, they have gone 9 in a row, 9-0, dropping only a single game in doing so. They are now in a 4-way tie at the top of the LCK with Damwon Gaming, Sandbox, as well as Gen G. Nobody in the LCK has really qualified for playoffs yet. There are 7 teams within 2 games of each other, but it's SKT at the top, and they're doing it in large part because they have found the kind of balance and stability and the revitalization provided by Rift Rivals and a fresh look at things. Much as I shouted out Ben for Top Esports, I'm also going to shout out Effort in the support lane for SKT. Again, this is a team that's, it's Faker, God, Starman. We all want to put the focus on the mid lane, but his synergy in the place of Mata, or Effort synergy in the place of Mata in the bot lane with Teddy has really provided a balance to that lane. Sometimes, and I think we see that a lot here in North America with a team like 100 Thieves, with Aframu and Bang, 2 veteran shot callers who have very strong ideas about how to play the game. I think we saw a little bit of that with Teddy and Mata, and now that Effort has come in this role after Rift Rivals, he's been a large factor in the way that SKT have been patient and willing to exploit the openings that they find. They go 2-0 in 2 series against Afrika Freaks and Kingzone, and they have just looked fantastic overall. I fully expect this team to be able to defend their spring title and have a real shot at Worlds. At number 2, we move into FPX, FunPlus Phoenix. They move up by virtue of not losing, which has sort of been their MO for the past few weeks. A lot of their schedule this year, by some quirk of the schedule maker, was front-loaded, and so they played a lot of their more difficult matchups before Rift Rivals when the meta and teams weren't really fully formed ideas. They come in with a victory over LNG Gaming, and now are in a position where they have 3 games to close out the year. 2 of them are against 2 incredibly good teams in the LPL. You have Suning, and then you have the season finale against Top. So we're going to really see what this team is made of beyond just the Doinby theatrics in the mid lane. Yes, he brought out the Poppy last week, and then this most recent week, he showed 2 games of Kiana, which, fine, that's a great champion. Whatever you want to do, Doinby, I'm with you. So FunPlus basically stays high in this list because they don't lose and because they continue to play at a very high level in a very competitive region. At number 1, we have G2 Esports, and yes, you don't need to adjust your screens or whatever device you watch League of Legends on. That was a Garen in the top lane for Wonder. They seem to be taking requests from the crowd at this point. Anti-top, sure. Tristana mid, why not? Garen, hey, let's do it for the memes. They did it against Vitality, which ironically is the last EU LCS team to have played Garen in a meaningless game 2 years ago against Splice. But the Garen pick was too far even for a team this incredibly skilled. They come into a point where Garen is essentially a bag of gold against Kabashard's Karma, and that the resources and the lead that Karma is able to gain in the top side really is able to be spread out over the rest of her team, rather than Garen, who basically does nothing. And so G2 fought with one arm behind their back, lost deservedly, and they didn't quite play too well beyond the Garen pick. So you could sort of blame the Garen pick, blame their poor play, but also mostly play the Garen pick because I think one follows the other. Then they come into the marquee matchup against Fnatic in the final day of the LEC last week, and they get back to not picking meme picks. Instead, they go back to one of the picks that has sort of defined their ascendancy in the last few months, and that's Pyke. Pyke actually received a few buffs that took away his ability to be a solo laner that, of course, Wunder most famously exploited, and put him into the support role, and he gets a lot more gold now for his executions off of his ultimate. And Mickey X said, okay, well, we'll do that then. And G2 were able to exploit his movement and rotations to really take Fnatic's early game aggression away from them, sort of turn the game over with pick after pick and lane after lane, and prove to one and all that they remain the best team in the LEC and in our rankings, the world. I don't think they deserve to be dropped at all from this #1 spot. There is a definite shout for them to drop after losing to Vitality in the way that they did, but I didn't really learn anything about G2 that I didn't already know. This is a team that plays off of motivation. They want to be able to play for something, and in the void of lack of motivation, they're going to make up their own odd goals to try and achieve. And I think when G2 are on, when they are focused, when they are properly motivated, there is no other team in the world that can match them, and that's why ultimately they stay atop our League of Legends Global Power Rankings. And for the full rankings, keep it right here at ESPN.com/esports.